You a lot happier to see Tucker Kraft stiff arm people to the ground rather than trying to roll?
Yeah, that was nice. Lowered his shoulder, ran through some people. So, yeah, I'd like to see more of that for sure.
Just what kind of a handful is he after the catch? I mean, he's kind of short.
Yeah, he's a big-bodied guy. You know, when he lowers his pads and gets his momentum going, you know, you can tell that DBs don't really like to tackle him too much on the sideline. So, no, he's been impressive. So, hopefully we get a lot more of that.
What was it about him that you had to see that maybe didn't show up in practice or, you know, especially in training camp, that's emerged since he started playing a lot?
Yeah, a lot of it, you know, for him at the beginning was just assignment stuff. You know, lining up in the right spot, getting off on the right snap count, blocking the right guy. And then after that, like using good technique and all that stuff. So he was a little behind from that aspect as far as like, you know, the fundamental core issues that you have. But then once you know he started figuring it out, then you could see, okay, this guy's got a lot of talent. And a credit to him, I don't know if there's a guy that works harder behind the scenes than him with just how he prepares. He's in the film room. He's asking Coach Dunn questions all the time. So he's one of those kids that it's super important to, and he really, really prepares hard. So you're seeing it now, like all the success he's having, it's kind of coming to fruition.
Did that stuff start showing up even before Musgrave got hurt, or is that when you really saw it?
No, you saw it, like if you look at his reps, even when Musgrave was playing, like each week there was about 5 more reps each game. He was just getting a little bit more. And so you knew eventually he was going to be one of the guys to carry the load. And then obviously once Luke went down, he had to be. So, yeah, it's worked out well for him.
I think it was Spoon that asked you maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, you allow yourself to imagine what it might be like to have Tucker and Luke together. Well, you might have Tucker and Luke together.
Yeah.
How different do you think your offense could be if Luke gets the go-ahead and you've got that?
Yeah, no, it'd be great to have, you know, 2 legitimate threats at tight end, especially, you know, when you can be multiple with your personnels and still have that ability to not only run the ball but also to have that vertical threat down the field at any time. That's always huge. So having those 2 guys on the field making plays is great for us. It opens up a lot of things in your playbook, just as far as, you know, different things you can do from different personnels.
Their run defense has been really good, speaking of Chicago as well. What do you see from that perspective, and how's that going to challenge your running game, which has gotten going?
Yeah, they have a sound scheme. They usually have an extra hat in the box, and they play really hard. And they play really well together. You can see these guys, you know, making adjustments, pursuing to the ball. They do a great job punching the ball out, creating a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of interceptions. So, no, they're just playing really well together. And that's the thing with their defense is they're a good team defense. So it's going to be a big challenge for us for sure.
What's the most impressive thing over the stretch of games that Jordan's had over the last several weeks? What's the thing that's maybe stood out to you the most as being a young quarterback, first-time starter? You don't always see that from guys.
I think the biggest thing, you know, for young guys, and just with watching Jordan, that's been so impressive over the last half of the season is our success in situational football. He's been really good on third downs. He's been really good in 2-minute situations. So things like that where, you know, it kind of takes some time. You need a lot of reps, and you see a lot of different coverages on third down, a lot of looks, get a lot of pressures, how he handles all that stuff, and makes plays in the face of pressure. So I think situationally that's the biggest thing for him, I think, that I'm most impressed with.
What's it take for a young guy or really any quarterback to, you know, he was great for week 1 third down, right? And it kind of dipped a little bit, but he's been really good third and fourth down since midpoint of the season. What's it take to be a good third down quarterback?
A lot of reps, and then a lot of, you know, just confidence. You know, he rips some throws to wideouts that, you know, aren't open yet. He anticipates well, so he's doing a good job with that. And just handling pressure. You know, there's going to be some dirty pockets and all that stuff, and you still got to make those throws, and you got to stay in there and make some plays. So I think that's the big thing is just having that poise to go play.
What do you tell a guy who threw 3 touchdowns in a game and missed 2, or missed 2 wide open guys maybe because of footwork or whatever like that? Do you have trouble criticizing that?
No, that's your job as a coach. You get to be like, hey, bud, good job, but here we go. And no, it's good. And that's the thing, like he'll be the one to say it before he even walks in the meeting. He'll be the one kicking himself that he missed whatever throws he missed. So that's the fun thing about coaching Jordan is he's harder on himself than, the coaches are on him. So, yeah, there's always stuff to improve, and these guys, most of these guys, they want to be the best and they want to improve. So you just got to coach them and they'll take it.
Hey, Steno, you played in this league, there's, the old control what you can control deal. But there are things that you can't control that probably frustrate you. I'm wondering how Runyon has handled in a contract year, sharing snaps now and it getting to the point where he and Ryan are almost evenly split. What have you seen there?
Nothing. He's been extremely competitive. He's been no complaining, just handling it very professionally like you would expect from him. That's kind of the cool thing about this group that we have is, whether it be wideouts not getting the ball, some O-linemen playing some games, sometimes they're not. The guys just come to work and they support each other, and whatever role we ask them to do, they're on board. So I think that's a testament to him, just his work ethic and just how he prepares every week. So, yeah, he's done a great job.
You were, you were here when Devontae was here, and he's obviously a number 1 receiver. Is there any upside to having what you have, or maybe these guys will develop into one, but you don't really have one per se, but you got a whole bunch of guys who routinely get open?
Yeah, no, there is, from the standpoint of, like you said, anyone can get the ball at any time. Sometimes you're in a situation where you're like, boy, I wish we had this guy that could just win one-on-one, even if he's double covered. But for the most part, if you have a good collective group and the quarterback's reading his progressions, he'll find the open guy, which I think we've been doing pretty well the last few weeks. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest advantage is defenses can't really game plan to take a guy away. And if they did, now we got these other guys that can get open. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool to see.
What have you thought, just what Bo has given you the last 2 weeks, and how much of a lift do you think that can give to a locker room, too? With
It's given us a tremendous lift. He's got great energy. He has an infectious personality that guys just really gravitate towards. So, yeah, and he's been like that all year, but then once the guys see him making plays on the field, I think that really lifts everybody up and keeps the energy high and keeps the morale up for sure.
In terms of having time for Jordan to go through his progressions, he's been pretty lights out in pocket this year. From a productivity standpoint, what's the expectation when the pocket's not clean, when he's dealing with, getting hurried or hit? Like, obviously minimize bad plays in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends, I guess. But anytime you can get out, escape the rush and make a play, that's hopefully what you can do. Sometimes there's nothing you can do other than just protect the ball and make sure we have it at the end of the play, or ditch it if you can. So basically the expectation is make sure we have the ball at the end of the play, protect the football. That's first and foremost. So, yeah, it kind of all depends on the situation.
Steno, I feel like I asked you a lot of process questions all year long about play calling and stacking things and keeping things simple early in the year. Was there a point where you and Matt kind of sat down and said, all right, I don't want to say throw caution to the wind, but maybe give these guys, stop treating them with kid gloves, and because Pittsburgh sounds like it was the turning point for you guys in your minds. Was there kind of a concerted effort or a decision that you guys as coaches made that said we gotta, I don't want to say coddling, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say probably the second Detroit game, that Thursday, short week, it was kind of like, all right, like in order to beat these guys, we gotta bring it with some stuff. And short week, not a lot of time to prepare, so we put a lot on their plates and they handled it, and it's kind of grown from there, I would say. So that's probably the first thing that pops into my mind.
Why do you think they've been able to do that? Because you guys were being careful with them, right?
Yeah,
Putting them in a bad spot.
It's just banking reps and guys like being able to relate to experiences and relate, and you just see different defenses every week. But then after a while, oh, this defense is like 3 weeks ago when we played these guys, or you know what I mean? So they can kind of relate past experiences to what's happening now. And I think after a while, that helps when you're out there playing. You can go play fast and you're not thinking about what I need to do. Now you can worry about how you can beat the guy in front of you.
So we know how that Detroit game played out, right? You
Yeah.
guys took the ball and when you're going into that, I'm sure there's an anticipation and some excitement. Is there also oh crap, we're really putting them out there?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is. It's one of those things. I mean, you got a lot of young guys out there. You never really know what's going to happen until it happens. So, fortunately, that day it worked out well for us for sure.
You guys have faced a lot of blitz-heavy defenses this season. What pre-snap for Love for the offensive line? What goes into that communication for the adjustments that are made?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Obviously you have your initial protection, you have your initial rules, and then there's any adjustments off the front look that they'll give you, or safety rotation, or whatever it is. So it starts up front with the O-line making a call and making sure that gets communicated to Jordan and the running backs, or the tight ends, whoever's involved in the protection. And then from there, Jordan sees something, wants to change it, then he communicates that to the blocking people, backs, O-line, anyone else, to get us right. So a lot goes into it, especially when you're, playing in a loud environment. Obviously, the play clock's running down. There's a lot of different factors that have to get communicated quickly. So a large portion of our week is just based on doing stuff like that.
Seemed like you didn't really have any free runners, or many free runners off of blitzes. Was that, is part of that because they're getting used to facing so many blitzing teams and they kind of get the...
Yeah, no, I liked our plan last week, with picking up the pressures. And Jordan, I thought, did a really good job recognizing things. There was a bunch of adjustments that had to get made that did get made. And the backs just being on it, because that's a lot of times that plays into it just as much as anything, is making sure the backs are on the same page and recognizing where they have to be. So it's a testament to everybody. Like, all those guys did a great job.
Steno, was Rashid a different guy today than he was in October?
Yeah.
How has he changed?
Yeah, he's just, getting all this experience under his belt. And, yeah, he's doing a good job. I'm really impressed with just how he goes about his business, how he competes. Still got a ways to go. I think he's got a lot of room for improvement, but, I'm impressed with how he works.